I'm going to make a really cool acetate pop-up card today with Sparkle and Sprinkle, and here it is. The front of it shows a rose. It's a Valentine. Now the instructions are here for how to create the card base, and I did this off camera. I did use a scoring tool and a bone folder. Now this is the outside of the card. Notice the mountain fold in the middle. So that tells you this is the front of your card. We're going to use some VersaFine Clear ink and stamp this rose from the Rose Heart set. I'm going to use several stamp sets on this card. I really had fun putting this together. I decided a heart rose was best because it's a Valentine, but I wanted a flower, and you'll see why in a moment. Inked it up really well, and I'm going to stamp it right on the front of the card and a little bit of an angle to make it look more natural. Not that a heart-shaped rose is natural, but even though I pressed really firmly, I didn't get an excellent image. But because of the way our stamps are cut so closely, I'm really able to match this up without using a stamping platform tool and just using a block. So there, that looks much better. And now I'm going to use VersaFine Clear in Nocturne, which is a beautiful black tone, to add the fine lines to the rose. And again, because of the way these are cut, really easy to match this up. I love layered stamps. And there we go. So, front of the card. I will be adding more to this later. Right now I'm going to move on to the inside of the card, and I'm going to use this Honeybee stamp set, really cute, by Jan Mayhew. And I'm using two different bee images. The first one is a really, really detailed bee, and I'm going to stamp it several times spaced apart on my paper. I'm going to be punching these out with a circle die, so I want to give myself plenty of space. Now, one mistake I did make here, so when you're doing this, I stamped them too far in. If you stamp them closer to the edge, it's easier to punch them out. I'm stamping more than I need because I have this scrap piece of cardstock, and just in case I make some mistakes, I won't have to go back and do it again. These are easy to stamp. And now I'm using the silhouette stamp, and I'm so sorry. Several times in this video I am stamping out of camera, and I don't know why I did that. So the silhouette is smaller, so it can look further away when we put our card together. And then I'm coloring the bees with some yellow alcohol ink and some light blue alcohol ink in the wings. You could color them with anything, watercolor, colored pencil. I just happen to love alcohol ink markers, so I used those. And now it's looking like I can't find something. What am I looking for? Hello. Ah, my punch. 1 3/8 inch punch. See what I mean about punching it closer to the edge? I mean stamping it closer to the edge to make punching easier. And you'll see here what I have to do because I neglected to stamp them closer to the edge. I actually just rip the piece of cardstock so that I can reach those images. But actually I only used 2 of them in the card. But I've learned over the years to try to complete one step at a time instead of, Murphy's Law. If I didn't punch these out, I would need them. Turned out after I punched them, I didn't need them. But I have some little images to use in a junk journal or something later. Leftover bees. They'll come in handy. And then I go ahead and I punch these smaller ones as well using a 1-inch punch. And so I have my bees ready to go. Now, the center of this card is where we're going to attach our images to look like they're flying. And I'm using some 1/4-inch Tear-ific tape. Now inside, this is the valley fold of the card. As you can see, I don't know if you can see that really well, but this is the valley fold side. So this is the inside of the card. So when you do this part, make sure that your heart image, your rose heart, is on the other side of the card. And again, I'm so sorry, I'm off camera, but I am applying 1/4-inch Tear-ific tape to both sides of the valley fold in the center of the card and trimming it. However, I'm not peeling off the backing yet. Okay, and I'm pressing it with my fingers, and you can use a bone folder to make sure this fold is tight. Okay, so you saw that was the inside of the card with the Tear-ific tape applied. And now we're going to take a piece of our embossable acetate. And this stuff is so great, and it cuts amazingly well. So I took it to my trimmer and I cut off a 1/4-inch slice from the long edge, and that was enough for my card. So this package of acetate is going to last me a long time. Now there you can see it. I'm just amazed that you can even see it on camera. But yep, there it is. That's the piece of acetate. And this is going to help us make our images look like they're flying, which is really cute. Now I'm going to lay my images out where I want them on the card, and I take a little time figuring out how many I want. I put the black one in the middle, up higher to make it look like it's further away. And I'm thinking 4? No, 3 is always better than 4 because it's an odd number. An odd number just always seems to be more pleasing to the eye. And I made my bees look like they're flying in different directions and decided that's how I wanted them. So I'm going to use 3. And now I'm taking my acetate, tucking it in behind that fold to decide how long it needs to be. It's going to be attached to the card and to the bee image. So I go ahead and I'm kind of measuring up to about the middle of the bee, although I could have measured higher up, as long as it's behind the image. So even if you make it too long later, you can always trim it shorter. So if you're worried about making it too short, leave a little bit of length and you can trim it later. We don't need those. Okay, so measuring how I want these. Okay, deciding how much I need to cut off of that one. So now I'll remove these and remove a piece of the Tear-ific tape. I'm going to remove the one closest to where we were just working, the top end of the card. Okay, now we're going to take those 3 pieces of acetate and tuck them in there and press them into the Tear-ific tape. I decided I need to line those up again. Good idea. Okay, so now we're going to add the acetate, press it in there, and it sticks perfectly. Lovely. So we add all 3 of those. Just press. And remember, this is going to be a double layer of tape once I peel off the other piece. It'll be tape to tape, which will truly hold these in place quite well. So there are the 3 pieces of acetate in place. Now, a little bit of Tear-ific tape at the top of each piece of acetate, and I trim it to match the top of the acetate. Don't want any of the adhesive sticking off above the acetate, because then we're going to have a sticky spot on the back of our bees and it'll end up sticking to the card. So make sure you trim your Tear-ific tape to match the top of the acetate strip. So that's what I'm doing here. That one's a little long. I know I'm going to have to trim that one. There we go. Now, using some Nuvo glue pen. This is the precision glue pen. This is the small one, and it's perfect for this. You just press the little ball point and the glue comes out. I'm putting it where I want to apply some flocking. This really has a great precision tip. So I get it right where I want it, on the yellow of the bees, and the silhouette I want covered, the thick parts of the silhouette, the wings and the body. Give it a few seconds to dry, or you can do it while it's wet. If you apply it while it's wet, you cannot use your finger to burnish it. So it's a good idea to let it dry when you're using flocking. This is Canary Flocking, and dump it on the bee. I just kind of rub it a bit. Of course, the more you rub it, the smoother it will get. And there's my bee. Wow, that looks so real. That's an amazing image too. Jan just did a fabulous job with that bee image. Now I decided to use one bee that had blue wings and one that didn't have any color on its wings, just for variety. So we have a variety of sizes and a variety of color. And now we'll do our little silhouette. And we're going to use some more flocking on this one with some sparkling. So cute. Night Sky, I believe this one's called, and I rub it into the bee. I just think it's so pretty. Well, if you hear some heavy breathing, my Maine Coon cat Nick is sitting behind my computer right now. He decided he's going to fill that space in back there and take a nap. He's 20 pounds, so you might hear some breathing. Okay, so look at this. We got our images ready. Here's our acetate strips with our little bit of Tear-ific tape, and we just peel that off simply and attach the bees. Which one was it? Yeah. You can always take a picture with your phone of the way you laid everything out if you're afraid you'll forget. I think that's really great that we can do that these days. It's just an amazing world we live in. Now you'll notice that they're overlapping, and that kind of bothers me. I don't know if I really needed to worry about that, but for some reason it bothered me. So I decided to remove the acetate strip from the Tear-ific tape and replace it in a better spot. And do you know what? That was super easy to accomplish. There was no problem peeling that off and sticking it back on. It didn't pull the tape up or anything. It was just perfect. A little more perfect than my layout to begin with. And I'm kind of a perfectionist, so I move them till I'm happy. And there, now they look better. And again, I'm off camera, and I'm so sorry for that. Just testing it to see how they pop up, and they pop up just fine for now. We will be doing some other taping that's going to help with that. And now we are doing the first step of the taping to finalize. We have one more piece later on. But this is the two pieces, tape to tape. And there are our images. How adorable. Surprise when you open the card. So here's the reason that I wanted the heart rose. We have bees and a rose. They kind of go together. But the heart is for Valentine's Day. And we're going to repeat the rose. Now this piece is going to fit inside the card because we don't want to do two images on both sides of a piece of cardstock. With all the embossing and inking, it might bleed through, so I'm using a piece that I'm going to attach to the inside of the card. Now I inked up with the Versamark Claire Red Tulip, and now I'm removing the ink using the bee stamps. When you use a stamp to stamp, it's going to remove ink. So we have this adorable heart with bees embedded in it, kind of making it look like bee shadows flying over a heart. Okay, so there we have that. And now, because we're using VersaFine Claire, we are able to emboss this image, but not yet. First, we're going to add the sentiment, which explains the whole card. Be mine. So we have the heart and we have the bees. And I put it at an angle because I don't want to worry about it being straight. This way, I don't have to worry. Be mine. How cute is that? Now, back to the fact about VersaFine Claire that's really cool. Besides the fact that they are just amazingly juicy ink pads with beautiful, beautiful color. They are embossable, heat embossable, for quite a while after you stamp them. So this entire image is embossed with clear embossing powder, and there it is. That's the inside image. But before we attach it, I want to make it a little bit more bee-like and a little bit more interesting. I wanted to pick up more of the yellow and black for the inside of the card. Yes, that's how it will look. Very cute. Let's move on. We're going to take the... Wait, I think I may be doing one more thing here. I think I'm thinking, what do I do next? Okay, we're going to work on the front of the card. I really was creating this card as I went along. I did not do a preliminary card. This is it. So you'll see me doing some thinking. You might even smell smoke. So I used a stamp stem and a stamp of rose leaves from my Wild Rose stamp set. And all the links will be below. And a stamp that says Lovely You, and that's from the Swallowtail Butterfly set. So I really grabbed a variety of stamps to use on this card. They all worked beautifully together. Now I added some 1/4 inch Tear-ific tape, butted up 2 layers of it at the top of the image for the inside of the card and 2 at the bottom of the image. Those are 2 pieces of 1/4 inch next to each other. And I'm peeling off the top 2 layers top at the top of the card, top one at the bottom of the card, and we're going to add some bee stripes. You remember I said I wanted to add more yellow and black? Yeah, I'm all over this card. I'm on the inside, I'm on the outside, because I'm creating it as I go along. Now I'm dumping some of that same floss that I used on the bee. I believe this is Night Sky. And I'm burnishing it with my finger, and I'm going to use my glitter brush to really clean this off well, because I'm going to be adding yellow underneath it. So I want to get rid of as much of that black as I can so that it won't creep into the adhesive later on. Now I do the other stripe. Notice it's both top ones, but you can do it any way you like. You could even make them wider or narrower using different tape. We have tape in all kinds of widths. This is Tear-ific Sparkle and Sprinkle tape. Now I'm going to use the Canary again and add the yellow stripes in the same fashion. Burnishing it in. And the more you burnish it, the smoother it is. And once you tap it off and brush it off, it's not going to go anywhere. The tape holds it perfectly. And there we have it. So this gets added to the inside of the card using some adhesive. And I also stamped on the inside of the card the image from the honeybee set of the, what do you call that? The bee hive? No. What is that called? The bee... Well, anyway, it's stamped with VersaFine Clair again, and I used Midnight Madness embossing powder. And the VersaFine Clair is heat embossable again, like I said, for quite a while, so I'm able to emboss this with the Midnight Madness, which is my favorite black embossing powder. Just to give us a little bit of a background, a suggestion of the hive, the honeycomb, that's what it's called, honeycomb, yeah. So you open the card, and still you can see we need to add a little more tape to make those pop up right. So I'm going to turn the card over, and there's that mountain fold, remember, on the outside, and we're going to add one strip of tape. I'm so sorry I'm off camera again. Oh my goodness. I think I need to put a big X on my glass mat so that I know where my camera is. I don't usually have this problem. I don't know what my problem was this time. Okay, so inside of the card, outside of the card, pops up nicely. The front needs something. How about a bow? Black gingham ribbon is my absolute favorite ribbon. I just think it's adorable. I should have bought stock in black gingham ribbon. Now I'm using that precision glue pen again to fill in part of my leaves, my rose leaves. And I'm going to use some glitter, of course. Also that rose stem, I'm going to wait on the rose stem. First we're going to use some Exhilaration glitter. And there it is, that's Exhilaration. Sprinkle it on there. Burnish it because the glue is dry. And precision glue is a two-way glue, which means it stays tacky. That's what you need with glitter. And to give it a little more depth and to pick up on the black in the card, I'm going to use Money glitter. This is money. It's got some black, and it's just so cool. And here's our card. Pops up, be mine. The bees in the heart. The rose on the front. Lovely you. Be mine. And here's our finished card. Be sure to hit the bell so you don't miss a video. Have fun!